Okay, it is Monday, April 4th, 2022, and I'd like to open the meeting, Board of Health, Douglas Board of Health. We'll bring the meeting to order, I should say. Okay, we have first on the agenda, we have Ed Hasek. Did I pronounce that correctly?
You sure did.
Well, that's great, thank you. Okay, Ed,
You wanna come up?
yeah,
sure.
come on up, sit up here.
Sure.
I just want you to know up front, we're still under contract until next June,
Okay.
and, but we're looking for prices earlier now, and we're looking for maybe the most three prices, so we'd like to include you in that.
Yeah.
So that's where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, like I say, we're going out for bid on probably as early as September of next year or October.
This year, right?
No, I mean, I'm sorry, this year, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, for next year,
All right, so to be clear, you are definitely gonna go out to bid?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, that's no problem. I was under the impression that maybe you were just looking at or considering just a proposal from us and the current hauler.
No, well,
Okay.
it's going to be, we're gonna keep everything pretty much the same, except for I know there's a mattress issue
Mm-hmm.
now, and you probably know more than we do about
Yes.
what's going on out there as far as recyclables
Sure, I can
concerned, and,
talk a little bit about that if you
okay,
like.
yeah, go ahead.
And we may add 2 compactors to the mix,
Okay.
if we can find a home for them, so that's what we
Now,
are.
what would you be considering the compactors for? For cardboard?
Cardboard and plastic.
And plastic?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, yeah, so, yeah, I'd be happy to address some of the things that you
Okay,
just
great.
mentioned. I guess I could start off with the timetable.
I'd like to thank you, first of all, for coming.
Oh, my pleasure.
We appreciate it very much.
Happy to be.
Is this bothering you?
I'm okay. I sit in a room without a window all day long, so I can take the sun. It's actually, I like it.
Just is the fuzzy face new?
Yeah, that's yeah, COVID after effect. So, so a few things. First of all, I think the town's decision to consider different haulers at this time would be certainly good. You know, it's a good amount of lead time to get you ready for, you know, what is it, about 15 months from now.
Yeah,
So that's a good time frame. I'd say the sooner you go out to bid, the better. It just allows everybody to kind of ramp up and get ready for it. As far as a few things the town would need to do prior to going out to bid would be to obviously request prevailing wage rates. And one thing that and the reason, obviously you know that, but the reason why I bring it up is because there's been some I guess developments when it comes to transfer station communities and the way the state has been issuing prevailing wage rates. So because it's roll-off work and roll-off dumpsters and trucks can also be used on construction jobs, there's been some I guess overlap when it comes to the way the state has looked at this. And so they had been offering transfer stations construction wage sheets when it came to prevailing wage rates, which is really a detriment to the town because you'd be looking at almost twice the rate. So this issue was actually brought to court by some other communities in Massachusetts, and they won a favorable ruling, I think, on behalf of all municipalities in the state. So I have that information here for your review. And so you can keep this. I have it all electronically. I'd be happy to share it with any of you as well. So this is actually the court decision here. You can read through it if you I don't want to having trouble sleeping, but it basically just to sum it, the upshot of it is that the court realizes that transfer station work is not construction work, and the state has the ability and should be issuing a better rate. Sometimes the state's a little bit slow, I guess, to adopt some of these rulings. So if the town is issued a rate sheet, that's the construction sheet, you could then submit this and then ask for an updated version, and they will give you, they should give you a better rate. And I have an example of exactly that happening in the city of Northampton. So they requested a rate, it's right here, it's the construction rate, I have it all highlighted. They resubmitted with the litigation, and then I got a revised rate. Just to give you, the reason why I wanna take a minute to describe this
No,
is that
this is great, this is very good.
the rate they were originally given was $49.55 an hour. The revised rate was $25.30 an hour.
Thanks.
So that's,
Yeah, it's a huge
Pretty
difference, yeah.
significant,
yeah, so that's, so, you know, look,
That would crush a lot of towns.
and that's why the towns actually took this to court, because it was just, it wasn't, anyway, it wasn't right, and so they rectified that. So I submit this to the board, I don't.
That'll be great. Yeah,
And
thank you.
just,
Thank you.
and again, if there's any questions on that, or if you need another copy or something, just reach out to me, I can provide it. And, so we've worked with those towns, so we have some familiarity with that process when it went to court, but I also know that the towns that were instrumental in the litigation also then went out and submitted a lot, or kind of got the word out, so to speak, to a lot of other communities. So as I've been speaking with other towns, they've actually brought that to my attention. I said, I know all about it, but I share that with you in case you haven't already been aware of that.
That's great.
And so, I guess as far as mattresses are concerned, so this is something you wanna think about on a few levels. First of all, if the town is collecting mattresses in your bulk box, in your bulky item box, as of November 1st of 2022, so this year, they can no longer be added there, because that all the other items in there, all the furniture and all the bulky items that are in there are treated as MSW. They're just oversized, but they're still municipal solid waste, and that's how they get treated when they're disposed of. But now with this waistband in effect, what will happen is the mattresses cannot be disposed of with other solid waste. So it's like back in the I think it was the late 90s, they made a similar ruling for things like refrigerators and appliances. Used to be able to just throw it all away, well then they changed that, so that's what's happening with mattresses now. So in order to deal with that, what I would be able to do for the town is we have a partner that's not far from here, who we've been beginning to work with, we recommend. What they would do is, put a container on site, and that could either be a town provided, we could provide it, they could provide, there's different options there. And then they would come and just unload all the mattresses out on an as-needed basis. So in the case of Douglas, where you have a transfer station and everybody's bringing their material there anyway, you're kind of lucky in some ways, because the residents, at least the residents who use the transfer station, are accustomed to bringing whatever they need there. No change for anybody on that end, so that's good. The change piece is gonna be that they have to be segregated, and then there would be a cost per mattress that you don't have right now. So that's kinda like, I know everybody's familiar with the term, you know, kind of an unfunded mandate, and that's basically what this is.
We do charge to, these, you know,
Okay.
people that bring, yeah, we do charge for mattress. In fact,
Box spring and mattress, yeah, we charge $10, that's all.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Question,
yes,
do we allow people without stickers to bring their mattresses to the transfer station?
Nobody without a sticker using the
We're going
transfer
to need to
station.
do that, I would think.
I don't think so.
Why?
I don't think we have
We
to
don't
provide
have to do
residents who
that.
don't buy a sticker.
The mattresses are going to have to be disposed of.
Yeah, then they bring them to Berkey's or something. Bring them somewhere else,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
like they always do.
Okay.
Yeah, if
There are
they're
a lot
not-
of items that we don't, you know, there are some items that we don't accept, and they go to Berkowitz.
Right, and if they're not paying for a sticker, then they just don't get that privilege of using it.
Okay.
I mean, one thought is just in general, is if you had like a tiered system, tiered rates, so you had sticker holders and non-sticker holders, and then you could make money on that.
Well,
Just a way to supplement some revenue, just a thought.
We could think about that.
Yeah,
Like having
now's the time to think
a
about
higher rate for non-sticker holders or
Absolutely, yeah,
something.
yeah.
So, and,
Are stores still taking mattresses? Because, you know, That's the way I was always
Mhm.
accustomed to doing.
Yeah. So stores obviously can take mattresses. I mean, hopefully what would happen is they would continue to do it even with the waistband in effect, and that would probably be that'd be the easiest way for somebody to deal with it. They buy a new mattress, and then that retailer takes the old one, and then they recycle it. That would be the best thing for everybody. What I will say is this though, I mean, if you're charging $10 right now for mattress and box spring, I guarantee you that the rate will unless you wanna subsidize it, but if you wanted to cover that cost, you would have to go up on that item. But now, or at least at that time, would be the perfect time to probably make that transition, because you could say, look, these are all being recycled, they're all being diverted from the waste stream, so you can kinda play up the fact that this is a good thing, but, obviously there's a cost that accompanies that extra process.
Right.
So, and
What's it going to cost us for you to take them away? Do you take them away, number one?
So again, this would be something that we probably wouldn't do directly, but we could set you up with somebody who we work with who does that. So like Waste Management is not in the mattress recycling business.
Okay.
It's a very, very niche, very unique, business right there. There's only, I think, 3 companies in the whole state that handle that. And it's an interesting, I mean, look, think about this. I mean, what you're doing is you're taking everybody's old mattress, you're cutting off the fabric, you're opening it up, you're taking all the foam out, you're taking the metal out, you're taking the wood out, and you're separating all these different things, and they're all getting reused. So theoretically, hey, that's a great thing to do, but, I don't know how many people are interested in actually doing it, physically taking it apart.
Right.
So that's,
And it is very labor intensive.
it's labor intensive, and it's kind of I guess you'd call it a dirty job, it's,
Otherwise, what would they do with the mattress?
well, right now, I mean, I don't know 100%, I'm not 100% sure where the town's material goes, but I know a lot of the material in the area, including mattresses, would go to We Liberate our waste energy facility.
It just gets burned.
And it gets burned up, and the metal can get removed and scrapped, but the rest of it just gets turned into electricity.
I see.
So
Is
it's
there
still,
an advantage to taking them then, for the town?
You mean, is there,
Or
no.
is it actually a disadvantage?
Yeah, because what I was gonna say was this, not only do you have this fee structure and you have to kind of monitor this whole thing, make sure that no mattresses end up in the wrong box, right?
Right.
But now you also have to have a spot on site for it. So I mean, look, in some ways, you have some space at the transfer station, but maybe not, you don't have unlimited space, right? So, and if you're thinking about compactors, which I think could be a good investment for the town, do you have room for another box
Not really.
mattresses?
Not really.
Yeah, so that's,
You
so
know-
you could just, this is an interesting question, and I'm not sure I have an answer to it right now, but I'm glad you asked it, because I should have an answer now. It kind of forces me to do some homework on it. Is, do you have to accept this, or could you just say,
We don't accept them.
we don't accept mattresses?
Yeah.
That's a really good question, so, so this is all a little bit new to everybody, so, good question.
Well, it's not so much that, it's more the fact that, we are under the gun here for, price-wise, we're under the gun. I mean, because we're behind the 8 ball, as far as I'm concerned. We're not ahead of the game as far as inflation is concerned, you know what I mean? We're behind the 8 ball. And I'm trying to.
It's only gonna hit you harder, and so
Right.
I would say your current contract,
Mm,
which didn't include the current bout of inflation,
right,
is
that's what I'm
probably
saying.
favorable to the town.
Yeah.
The next time around, you're gonna see a bump, it's gonna jump up in price.
And it's gonna happen big time, I know.
Yeah, yeah.
So do you have a feel for what these recycling companies are going to charge for mattresses?
I would say that some of it's volume based, and, I don't think you're gonna, a town like Douglas isn't gonna have so much volume that you would.
You
You'd
get
be
the feel?
surprised.
Yeah, well, they,
Mattresses. I mean, they come in, 1 week, might only get 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I remember 1 week, one day, we got like 12.
yeah,
Yeah.
but you're probably not gonna have like 5,000 in a year.
Well, no.
So that's where I'm going with this, so.
Okay.
Maybe 409.
Yeah, yeah, maybe get a couple hundred in a
You
year.
know, that's why I have
Yeah.
Dick here too, because
Yeah.
he can answer a lot of the questions.
Yeah.
that most of us can't, because he's really the man in charge up there.
The thing with mattresses, what about they're really filthy?
So a couple things on that.
Do we still take them?
Yeah, so right now, and I guess you have a certain, level of flexibility on that. I mean, you could always choose to take or not take whatever you deem, but I would say, like, I don't wanna give you a quote on it, but I would say as far as the pricing goes, I would say something maybe like the $50 per mattress range. But that's mattress and box, so it's per item, so
Right.
mattress and
It's
box.
$100,
Yeah, again, that's a just,
Right, I get it.
it's not a quote,
Right.
but just to give you a sense of the magnitude of increase that you could be seeing. It could come, here's the thing, I mean, maybe that could come down a little bit if the mattress recyclers are able to kind of get up and I don't know, maybe realize certain economies of scale and so forth. But then again, like you mentioned, there's inflation that's kicking in as well.
And do you think retailers, do you think retail places would take up some of that as far as them, you know, when you get rid of a mattress, usually it's because you buy a new one?
Yeah, so I would say that you're probably gonna, my guess is that, and I'm not in the
No,
retail mattress
You
business.
may
but-
be.
But if,
You may be.
yeah, I know, who knows? But what I would say is this, is that, I think because of the pricing that I'm referring to right now, I think it's all gonna depend on, you know, what kind of like how they wanna position themselves and their product. So I think under normal circumstances, like, think of it this way, you buy a mattress from somebody, they could either offer you free delivery or not.
right,
Obviously, there's a cost when they deliver it to your house.
sure.
They could choose to absorb that or not. They could choose to take that old mattress for free, or they could say, look, we'll take it for free, we'll take it from you, but it's gonna cost you $50.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But if people are realizing as kind of, you know, let's say this process gets
Take it
underway,
away.
they're like, look, I could pay $50 at the transfer station, or I could pay $50 and they're gonna take it out of my house for me and then I don't have to do anything with it,
Right.
it's still worth it.
Exactly,
Well, that was my thought, is if we can kind of increase the price to a point where it's not really affecting us too much, it may,
I don't know if there's even an advantage to taking mattresses for us.
no.
You know, it may be easier to say, we don't take mattresses.
The only thing, and I agree, I understand that position, and it might be, it would certainly be easier for the town. What I would like to get clarification on though is like recycling in general, for example. You really can't offer a trash program without offering a recycling program. So you kind of need to do both.
That's what my fear is, that maybe
Yeah.
you'll have to offer residents a place to get rid of that. If they're paying for a sticker, you may have to offer something.
And you know, otherwise we find it on the side of the road.
Right.
Right.
And that's the next option.
And-
then we got them anyways.
That's
And
right,
these things are heavy and awkward,
yes.
and what happens if somebody trying to load them gets hurt, whether it's one of our people or one of the.
Well, that's exactly, yeah, our people
Custom.
aren't gonna touch them.
But how do you guys do that now? Somebody shows up with a king mattress.
Normally what we do, we have a 40-yard up top, so we're up on a wall.
Yeah.
So when we start to fill that one up, we try and fill everything up towards the right-hand side. We try and leave the left-hand side for mattresses. And what it is, we got a railing in there, we can put it on the railing,
Slide
drop
it.
it down, and we rest it right on the rim of the 40-yarder,
Mhm.
and just let it go. And it falls in there perfectly.
Got it.
Getting it up on the railing though, doesn't sound like a
Not
fun.
not that
It's
big
not
a
too
deal.
bad, they do a pretty good job with that, yeah.
Got that down to a science.
But-
I'm sure, yeah.
But the thing is that, yeah, right now you have that process in place,
Mhm.
which I think seems like it probably works all right. But now if you're gonna, cause you got gravity working on your
Right,
side.
that does point it down.
But if you're now loading it into like a shipping
Mhm.
container or
That's
something like that.
Well, I was saying, the shipping container, I mean, it's gonna have to have a top on it anyways, correct?
Yeah,
So the door's gonna be open. So I would say stand them up, have the.
Yeah.
That's what
have
you
the-
would do.
Yeah, not put them down flat,
No, no,
because
no.
they're not gonna be able to get it up on top, you know?
That's right.
Stand them all up on the side
Yeah,
of each other.
that's exactly how we would suggest it, and that's, you know, stand them up,
Let them drag them in.
put them in, and then the recycling company would come and just unload them.
Do you know that, how much do you know about the recycling company? In other words, do they come to pick up every week?
It all depends on your need.
Probably
So,
like electronics, right? When we get too many, then you go home.
so you could give them a call when, hey, it's getting full, give them a call,
Yeah.
and they'll show up.
Okay.
Or if once you start to get a sense of like, well, this thing fills up every 2 weeks, you just tell them,
Right.
come every 2 weeks, you know.
So does the $50 cover the hauling fee too usually, or is that an
So,
additional?
so the way this would work is that they would come and just, there'd be a container on site, and they would come and they just hand offload it. So there's no haul
Oh, I
involved.
see, I see.
So it's really, so that, yes, in that case, it would just be
So the container would stay there.
the container would stay there. So,
Okay.
so there is an advantage in that sense, is that you don't necessarily have to have the same kind of space you would normally have for like, to access all the roll-offs. You'd have a little more flexibility in that sense. But you still gotta find a spot for it.
Right, and a big enough container that's.
You know, if it was my company, there's no way I would hand unload them and then hand unload them off the vehicle
Well,
at the other end.
That's the way they do it, so.
Yeah,
um,
it's their company, so. we
yeah.
don't have to worry about
Once
that.
once they leave,
All-
they,
So really, all we need to do is figure out how we're gonna provide a container, either we rent one through them or through the other
Yeah.
company, the
Right.
subcon, or we just buy our own container.
right.
Put it somewhere, say it holds big enough to hold like 20 mattresses or so. When you get up to about 18, you make the phone call, they could come by, they unload them all, and then we just
Yep.
fill it up again.
Yep.
And how
charge-
much you gotta charge?
And charge $50 per mattress from
Mm-hmm.
now on.
And box spring, you said?
Yeah,
It is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, what are
50
you
and
gonna do?
50, yeah.
Well, there,
That's what
people
it
are gonna
is.
have to
And-
pay anyways,
and
like,
don't-
we
Oh,
put them up,
absolutely.
they pay
Right,
like
right.
Absolutely.
And again,
$75
I know everybody
plus
keeps saying
the
$50, I just wanna be really clear,
Yeah,
like,
it's-
that is not
It's
the
a way,
price, it's
no.
just a guesstimate.
No, we'll hold you
Yeah.
to it.
Unless it's more.
Yeah.
If we can consolidate recycling a little bit, I mean, we have quite a bit of space behind those recycling containers.
Yes, we
You
do.
know, if somebody needs to drive around and like
Yeah, yeah.
pull into a weird spot to unload a mattress. then
Yeah,
so
we could
be
even put it
It's
in the
only-
back, you know, kind of in the back.
Yeah.
Like you
it's-
say, back right in there and
Right.
load it, and-
Right.
yeah.
I would say as long as the company can get a box truck
Sure.
to kind of back up
Sure.
to it, you'd be
They
able to,
could.
yeah.
They could.
What do you think about a pad, though? You know,
Well, the container should have a bottom, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, our other containers have pads.
I
Well,
don't
they're
think
on
you,
top, but.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if, so you're thinking about putting this on, you know, in an unpaved area?
Yeah, that's
Well,
what we're
it's-
thinking of, we have room there, but unless we have some of that tar, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to take a closer look
I
at
mean,
that.
I don't know a lot about containers, I mean,
Yeah.
for like shipping containers
Sure.
and so forth, but I mean, I wouldn't be, I mean,
Well, I'm saying in winter times, like, the ground's gonna be soaking wet, the truck, whether, what size truck
Springtime,
goes in there,
yeah.
that's the thing,
Yeah.
gonna sink in there, you know?
yeah, so paving concrete would always be best, paving's probably the
Sure.
next best, and then if you even put like crushed stone down and
Yeah,
then maybe put
that's a
some,
possibility.
you know,
That's a
I don't know,
possibility.
6x6s or
Yeah,
something, and
yeah.
place your container on top of
That's
it.
a
I
possibility.
don't know, just some thoughts.
Yeah, as long as the driveway, I mean, we've got a lot of tar there, if we can even just stick it right on the corner, right off that, and like
Right,
you said, do a little
right.
bit of groundwork, and then you
Right.
can still back up on the tar and load it. You know, the
Right.
truck would never have to go off, but the container, I mean, once it's there, it's not gonna move.
Right, right. No, I think the stone might be a way out.
Yeah, probably the easiest way, it's just under the container so it doesn't rot, you know.
Depending on the size of the container, though, 'cause that might fit right behind the green ones.
Possibly.
And you put it right on the end, so when the truck
Possibly.
pulls down there, they
Sure.
can just drag them right off there.
Sure, well, that's what I say, we'll take a look at it
Yeah.
and, you know, we'll get a better idea. Wow, well, that's a lot of information.
Yeah, and actually, there's one other thing I wanted to offer, and that would just be, if you are looking to do an RFP, for this, one service that we actually offer is, kinda like an RFP, builder service, that's what we call it.
Mhm.
But, you know, what I see with every town that we're working with, is that nobody has any time, you know, Everybody's already like maxed out when it comes to their responsibilities and tight on time, tight on budget. And then the RFP is like this whole other thing that you have to just put on top of that. So we could actually provide a template, if you have interest in that. I think from an administrative standpoint, it would be probably a huge savings. Basically, I could put something together for the town that my goal would be that theoretically you could take this and just like go to the street with it. Obviously, you'd wanna review it, you'd wanna maybe edit it to meet your specifications and everything, but I think having something that's like, you know, 90%, 95% there, could help. And I think, you know, maybe selfishly a little bit, what we see on our end is that because we see the time constraints and the administrative constraints that everybody's up against, it causes these RFPs to get really delayed. And then we you know, we wanna compete for the business, but now it's like there's no time. And so I think it would be helpful for, I mean, not just us, but really like any competitor, so that way it gives the town the most opportunity to get the most competition in here to compete for the work. So if you have interest in that, I'd be happy to
Sounds good.
Yeah,
to work
that'd
with.
be great.
Okay, let me get the ball rolling on that,
Okay.
and then maybe you could get
Few
it out
more-
even earlier.
A few more questions.
Yeah, sure,
Hauling glass
yeah.
and, what else do we haul? Plastic,
Mhm.
okay, how would that work for you? Right now, we're dealing with Blackstone.
Right.
You're familiar with that?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it because when we met before, we talked about it.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, I had
remember.
submitted a proposal back in, actually it was a year ago, it's April 23rd of last year. And so
Time does
obviously
fly.
the pricing all would change now, but I have some of the assumptions are sort of built into this as to, so I could just kind of say like, if anything's changed, let me know, but I mean, so, yeah, like you had, recycling, so that would be you had cardboard, you had paper, and you had metal cans, and you had plastic, that was all
And
going.
glass.
And,
And glass goes somewhere
but,
else.
yeah, but those four go to Northbridge,
Oh, okay.
and the glass went to Auburn, right?
Blackstone and Auburn, yeah.
Yeah,
Blackstone.
okay. And so does the town pay a fee for the glass? I mean, do you get charged, or is that
Hauling,
just?
just hauling.
Just hauling, okay. And then, is that the same thing in Northbridge, or do you have an account?
Blackstone.
Blackstone?
Blackstone.
Just hauling.
So, okay, so
Well, no,
do they have, does the
We do
town
get
have an
charged a
account with
fee.
So is Blackstone not in, I thought that was in Northbridge, Whitensville?
no, Blackstone, Mass.
Oh, it's in Blackstone, Mass?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
well, all right, that's
Yeah.
different than what I thought.
Blackstone
Okay,
Valley Recycling, yeah.
got it, all right. It's always been that?
Mhm.
Okay.
DEP ran a seminar the other day
Mm-hmm,
over the internet,
yes,
and they were talking about recycling. That was the purpose of it. And they talked about revenue sharing.
yes.
Is that something you do?
Yes, so that I think, actually kind of invented that. But we would have to, it would have to go to one of our facilities. And so I think locationally, you know, kind of where you're situated is, you're probably better off going to, from a hauling standpoint, gonna be better off going to the closest locations. So I would say your options really gonna be Blackstone, and then probably Casella out of Auburn would be the two places that we could haul it to for you. If you did go to Casella, they do, and so this is what I would recommend, is that we could set this up for you, so that we would do the haul, bring all your material there, and then they do a profit sharing, or revenue sharing, whatever you wanna call it, it's the same thing. And the way it all works is like this, it's, they look at the value of all the recycling that is being brought in, and it's done on I mean, the recycling markets are kind of month to month,
Mhm.
So they'll evaluate, okay, what's the how much is cardboard worth? How much is plastic worth? Glass, all these different
Mhm.
components that make up that. And then they'll say, all right, well, it costs us a certain amount, let's say, $120 a ton to process all this. That's to accept it, to sort it, to bale it, to market it. So it's a certain amount, you can call it 120 a ton or whatever, something like that. And then they say, if you add up the value that we can sell all this at, maybe that's gonna be at $100. So maybe we get $100 worth of value in a given month. So if it costs us 120, but we get $100 back, that means the net cost to the town would be 20.
Right.
Now, in another scenario would be, let's say the recycling markets are doing better, and you get $150 a ton for that material. Well, it still costs you $120 to process it, but now the net rebate would be 30. But usually there's, this is where the sharing piece comes in. So, then that's usually gonna be, you'll get a percentage of that 30.
Sure.
So it could be 50%, 70%, whatever it
But
gets.
at least it's not paying out.
That's right, no, so you're getting a rebate in that case.
See, we were doing that with Blackstone,
Mhm.
and it
Then,
was, huh?
Then recycling,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, we went from getting paid to paying out
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah, so I would say this, in general, the way the whole markets have worked is kind of like this. Things were close to even, some months you'd get paid, some months you would pay, and that was kind of the way it was running, up until about 2018. So when end of 2017, January 2018, everything flips, that's because of some of the things that happened with China. And then what happens is gradually everybody's paying more and more and more, and it got really expensive all the way until I think it peaked out kind of in the spring of 2020. So when, interestingly enough, when everything else was kind of falling apart with COVID, the recycling commodity markets came roaring back, and so we actually started giving rebates back over the summer. So I would say from, it was end of 2020 all the way through fall of 21, there was just a nonstop improvement. And so we got to the point where we're doing rebates again. Now, it pulled back a little bit, but it's not bad right now.
Right.
So most communities are paying, that we work with through our recycling centers, are paying a small fee, but not like it was. It's gotten better. Yeah, so, and I would say that, I know that Casella offers a similar rebate, I'm gonna rephrase that, a similar profit sharing or revenue sharing.
Similar program.
Similar program, it's, yeah, so that's something that, I know, because you're not too far from them, that would be a logical choice, I think, and we'd be happy to haul there, we have a good relationship with them. So that's something we could do.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Is there anything that you don't accept? I mean, something that, how can I say? Is there some item that maybe we're accepting now that you probably wouldn't accept?
To the best of my knowledge, just having visited the transfer station before and from our previous conversations, nothing that I can think of that, I mean, we should be able to work with everything that I'm aware of. And so I think when it comes to, I'll work, like I said, I could give you that RFP template and I'd put it together in a way that, that hopefully would be helpful to you guys. And then when you look at that, if there's something that's either missing on there, or, then you could let me know, and I would say, hey, well, this is an opportunity for the town to maybe delete this or not, because I would say this, if it's an item that we're not handling, then I would say chances are that most other haulers would probably prefer not to handle it either.
Like paint?
Oh, yeah, we don't do paint.
Well, empty paint cans?
Okay, so if it's latex paint, and the paint is either dried or emptied out,
Yeah.
that can go in the trash.
Well, we throw that in metal.
In the metal recycling?
I take it back, hold on. Well, With the plastic bottom on them,
Yeah,
we throw them in the compactor.
yeah,
With the metal bottom on them, we throw them in metal.
okay,
Yeah, there's still paint in it, but they're dry.
yeah, it has to be dried out.
Yeah, it's all dried up.
Um,
And sometimes what they do, I mean, they'll bring something in for the paint, they'll throw cat litter in it just to absorb it, so there's nothing.
Right,
If
no,
that's
that,
okay, I don't know.
so that's okay, but here's the thing, is that then it's gotta go in the trash.
I'll-
And I could double check for you too, and just see if metal, dried, latex, paint cans can be recycled.
Well, sometimes they'll throw cat litter in there, they'll
Yeah.
absorb it, so.
Yeah, I would just say this, like, they definitely can be disposed of, no problem with that. As long as they're either dried out, the cat litter, or rinsed out, whatever, that's all fine. Metal or plastic. I don't know if the recycling centers wanna take the paint cans that might still have a paint residue or
Okay.
in the metal, not sure about that. I could check on that for you.
Pickup days,
Yeah,
what days do you guys pick up?
whatever day you want, well, Monday through Friday primarily.
Okay, so
yeah.
like for us would be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay, now, cause see, Blackstone, we can't ship anything out to Blackstone. They used to be open on Fridays, not open anymore on Friday. I guess they're closed because they don't take the cardboard, they don't take, what else do they take?
Plastic.
The plastic.
Yeah.
So we can't ship any of that out on a Friday, even though it's full. So we have to, a lot of times we have to try and judge for Monday.
Mhm.
Is this container gonna be full, is it gonna be closed? And sometimes it might go out, they're not, you know, we still got room in there, but
But yeah, you gotta try to make the weekend.
we try and, it's a gamble there.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. So, yeah, I guess it all depends
Is
on.
that too much for you?
I'm okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But I would just say this, is that really is gonna depend on the end site that we end up working with. So if the town wants to continue to work through Blackstone Valley,
Mhm.
that's fine. But then you're gonna end up with that
Yeah.
that constraint, right?
Unless you have
Yeah.
other recommendations.
But again, like, well, I mean, Casella's open 5 days, 6 days a week, really, so, so that's something that, you know, we could do it that way.
And they do the profit sharing program
They do,
thing?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, and the other thing too is that, you know, you may reach the point where, I could check on this, or maybe it just becomes part of the RFP process, but, you reach a point where maybe you just wanna go with single stream. You just put a single stream compactor in there, you know, or, you know, because here's what happens is, you know, you start taking out some of the stuff like, you know, separate the glass and all these other things, and it's like, it may not benefit you that much, or may not benefit you as much as having these extra halls and so forth.
Does Casella do single stream?
Yeah, and you do so this is it seems like the direction that, all the questions that you're asking anyway, are kind of pointing in a certain direction to me, would be, you could go and do your profit revenue sharing, you could do single stream in a compactor and cut back significantly on all of your halls, you could cut back on the amount of space that you have at the transfer station, and you could go and have 5-day-a-week option to service this. And so, you know, and I would just say this, and it's easier for the residents of the town too, you know, because you just put all, like everybody who has recycling at the curb, they don't have a glass bin and a metal bin and a cardboard bin. They just put all their recycling in the same bin, and it goes to a place like Waste Management or Casella or any of these other
They sort it.
and they sort it for you. And so you may find that people like that, maybe, you know, it certainly, I think, would be a convenience factor. There's no problem. I mean, definitely is a
That
convenience
would open up
factor.
some area down there too.
And,
Wouldn't it?
and so then maybe what, you know, what you may wanna do is you put two compactors up down there. And you could do it, I guess, kind of two thoughts on this. You could maybe do one for single stream, one for cardboard. My thought is maybe you just do 2 for single stream. You put 2 for single stream down, and kinda like you have the 2 trash compactors, you know, one fills up, it's okay, cause you still got the other one.
There you go.
And that's how you, so now you basically have 4 compactors, you got 2 trash and 2 recycle.
Yep.
That's how most towns have it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, so like I can, almost every town I work with that has a transfer station, it's just, it's basically 2 and 2.
That gives us a lot of flexibility.
2 and 2 is
Do you
what
do
it is.
Sutton?
No,
Oh, you don't, okay.
but, yes, I'm not, actually not too familiar with their setup at all, but anyway, that's, probably a good way to go.
Would it be possible, I mean, this is way out thinking, but would it be possible that if we set aside an area to collect hazardous waste, that you would take it away?
It's possible, but here's my recommendation. I would set you up with a company that does that exclusively.
Well, there's one up here in Sutton, NEDT.
Okay, yeah. And I would just say, if you, like, we don't do that directly, so if you wanted to work with us, and you, if you insisted on saying, look, we wanna pay one bill to one vendor, we could do that. But we would recommend that you just go directly with the company that handles that, because all we would do is subcontract that to one of these other companies. So you just cut out.
It was a wild thought.
But it's a good thought,
Good thought, yeah.
because you could still do that. I would just say, save yourself a few bucks and go directly to the company that handles that, but, you know, now you'd have the space on site to do it.
Mhm.
Thank you.
That's great. That's great. Boy, that would open up some, that would give us a lot of flexibility to it.
What,
Like, pick up on, I mean, you know, use the Friday to our advantage with
Yeah.
planning. It'd be a lot easier planning.
oh, it would be, because I mean, sometimes, I mean, depending on the weather and all, like we had B compactor ready to go out,
Right.
and we had planned it to go out for Monday, but we ended up with the snowstorm. And when I called, of course, they're not open on Saturdays, so I left a message, it was too late, V got pulled out. So that's when you see the low tonnage, I mean, that's what happened, so.
Yeah, these guys are always trying to, you know, balance everything out.
Yeah.
And they really do a good job up there, you have to say.
One question I had is that if you are thinking about recycling compactors in any
Mhm.
capacity, what are you guys thinking about for power? Is that something that you'd be?
We're gonna have to bring power over.
So that's something that would be
Yeah.
taken care of, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we could take.
Solar power won't hack it.
No, you don't want your solar on those.
I can see it now.
Yeah, so they do have solar powered compactors, but that's not gonna be working this application. Those are like, it's gonna cycle twice a day or something.
Yeah.
That's not gonna work.
We're not looking at that
No.
at all.
Yeah, the
we're,
best-
we're aware of the fact that
Okay.
we have to bring power over.
Good, all right, yeah, that'd be helpful then.
Sure.
Yeah, so I guess, I would just say this, is that maybe when it comes to the RFP, something to think about would be, just to offer the town some different solutions, as far as how to handle the recycling, and then you could see if there would be a benefit to keeping the recycling separate. But keep in mind, like, the single stream might, at the end of the day, might still be a little more expensive, but I think you're gonna see some simplicity, you're gonna have the ability to bring it to a place that's 5 days a week. You're gonna free up space on the transfer station,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be easier on the residents. So it's one of those things you may wanna think about from like a value standpoint, is that, like, depending on how the price does, I mean, it might be cheaper anyway, just because, I'll tell you this, on a tonnage basis, it's probably gonna be a little bit, I guarantee it's gonna be a little more expensive, okay? But on a hauling basis, I think it's gonna help you out on that, so you might save some money there.
Mhm.
And then on a value basis, I think you're definitely gonna be ahead. So it just kinda
Great.
depends on how you guys wanna weigh out those different
Well,
factors.
like I say, we're holding you to that $50.
I knew as soon as I put a price out there, that's what it would be.
Right, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. No, that's not my price
Otherwise,
anyway,
we'll see
so.
you in court.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to take a look I don't see anything else here, I mean, that, we haven't already covered based off, yeah, I think the only thing I would say is this: if you have the ability to provide, the most recent tonnages, and the most recent tonnages and the number of hauls, I could kinda get started
Just
on.
keep track of it every month.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
just send, if you could
Yeah.
just send that over, I could plug that into the thing that I'd be working on and
Okay.
and get you back,
That's
kind of
awesome, that's great.
a finished product.
Is there
Can I do
anything
that?
else, folks? You don't wanna
No.
hold this gentleman up too long here.
That's all right.
We all set? Any other questions that you can think of? Dick?
Does the
No.
single stream, is that for glass too?
Yeah,
Okay.
We put everything in there essentially?
yeah, all the things that you're currently recycling could be mixed into the same.
Tin, glass, cardboard.
Plastic.
Plastic,
Yeah,
paper.
paper.
Yeah.
That compact would fill up awful faster, wouldn't it?
Oh, man.
Well,
Okay.
so this
Go
is,
ahead.
this is where it's gonna get interesting, right? So, like, I don't know if you happen to have any tonnage information available right now, because I can kinda give you a quick little rundown of how this would work and where you're gonna save money. Because what would happen is, you have those containers you have on site right now, I
Is that
think
in here?
they're,
No,
they're basically a 20-yard container with a dome on top
Yeah.
that's considered to make it a 30, but it's really like, you can only load it up so high. So you're really getting about 20 yards of material in there. And so then what's gonna happen is, you take a 42-yard breakaway style container, or even that'd be one option. And you put something like that there,
That's
thank you.
ultimately
Okay. And here's what would happen. What I wanna look at here is
I
the
can't
number.
imagine paper compressors.
That's for
The
the
trips,
yeah.
okay. So now what happens is you're gonna get, twice the capacity, and now you're gonna compact that. And so now it's gonna give you at least 6 times, because you're gonna, so it's the compaction's gonna be at least 3 to 1, and you have double the space. So you should be able to cut back on a lot of these things, like, so for example, these are,
Just for the year,
yeah, but so,
each,
let me just see here, so these are all, is this all tonnages here? So if I
Yep.
looked at,
each sheet after that is by month.
okay, so, wait a minute, when it comes to the metal, the bulky, the 30-yard, the down here, is that must be the number of hauls or tons?
That is.
For plastic and cardboard and paper, cause it just says 0, so,
Yeah, I don't get the tonnages on the Blackstone
Okay.
stuff until the end of the year.
okay. So what are those?
So those are the tonnages.
These are tonnages? That's, so that's not for the full year then though, right?
That is, yes.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah,
see
yeah,
what you
yeah,
mean, so
yeah.
you plug the tonnage in for the whole year?
Yes,
Got it,
yeah,
oh, okay,
yeah.
that makes sense to me. So right now, I'll give you an example. You have 16, or cardboard is even a probably better example. In those containers, I'm gonna bet you're not getting a ton of you probably don't get 1 ton of cardboard
Probably not.
in those.
No.
But, so that's 80, you had 80 tons, it's saying. So I'll bet you probably have, I bet you have at least 100 cardboard pulls or more.
Oh, well, yeah, we have at least, let's see.
How many do you think you have a week?
2.
Can I see that for one?
Sometimes 3.
Sure.
Sometimes, mostly two a week, sometimes 3.
Okay, so even if I said like 2 1/4
Like right here, like
times
these,
52,
you can take
it's
this.
117, okay?
Those are all, like this is just 1 month and
Yeah.
per week.
Oh, I see, okay.
yeah.
But even just looking at it on a yearly basis, you're looking at, so 117 pulls, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I was guessing, like that, you're not getting even a ton. So so you take your 80 tons, divide that by 117, you're getting about 0.68 tons per load, just roughly speaking, okay?
Mhm.
So if you had a compactor, just for cardboard, now you're gonna be looking at probably about 5 to 6 tons. So now you could take your 80 tons, let's just divide that by conservatively 5.5, 14 and a half, so I guess it'd be 15.
Mhm.
So 15 pulls versus 117. So you're saving 102 hauls.
Wow.
So that's on cardboard, so there's good compaction on that,
Yeah,
good
yeah.
compaction on bottles and tin.
Absolutely.
Glass, not so much.
Plastics,
plastic there is good. So, you know, I guess that's just an example, right?
Mhm.
So so you say, yeah, it's gonna fill up, it's like, well, yeah, it will fill up, but it can take a lot more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And so, I mean, you know, yeah, I would say that pretty much holds true with a lot of this, you know.
Now, the streaming thing, would it be just one? Or
Yeah,
would it be two?
that's all you,
We
Two.
probably have to do two, so
It'd be
that
two
you
streaming,
can
all right,
alternate.
so that would
why
give
would you
me,
need two?
well,
In
once
case
one
one
fills
fills
up,
up.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
you
can
know,
switch
get
it up, but
back
then
Well, I
next day,
figured-
hopefully
I
they can come
figured
and
we
get
could-
the other one out.
right, okay, yeah.
Well, we aren't going in that direction for probably a year anyway.
Right.
So if we had two compactors, which is what we've been talking about, it just
Right.
moves the single
That's
stream
basically what I
easily.
do with the A and B compactors. I
Right.
try to,
Yeah,
Tuesday we go with the A,
Right,
Thursday we do A, and if it fills up, then we go to B.
yeah, yeah.
We have A pulled out, so this way here we go to B again on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
but I need that one, cause sometimes
Sure,
we never
I
know
get
what
you.
kind of tractor's coming in.
So that just kind of gives you an example of some,
Right.
now this is
Corey
your.
takes
That's
fabulous
2021,
notes, by
is
the
that
way.
good?
Yeah, can I
Yeah, yeah,
hang on to this? Okay,
Alright, so
perfect.
single stream will be a little bit more money, but we'll save considerably on road trips
Yeah,
when it pulls out, so that's, I mean, it could be. And I can't imagine single stream is that much more, I mean, there is a lot more handling, right, a lot more labor intensive at the place,
each
but,
trip right now is $180.
so if we can cut back on 50, 60
huge.
trips, 60 trips, it's a
so,
lot of money.
so if I added up this, your paper, your cardboard, your plastic, your glass, and your tin, which I don't have a tonnage on that, but if I added up all these, that would represent your recycling tonnage totals.
Yes.
Okay, so 16 plus 80 plus 13 plus 42.8, so 151. I don't have anything for the tin, so I would say tin is usually about 5%, so let's do this. So that's the total, so 5% of that would be about 7, so let's just call it plus 8.2 to make it nice. So 160,
Yeah.
so you've got 160 ton of recycling coming in. So if we divided that by, very conservatively speaking, 5 ton, probably about 32. So I think, you know, now that's if maybe if it was optimal, so I mean, I would say you should have no problem cutting down your recycling hauls to 40. You might even do better than that. So if you look
It's
at,
definitely the direction we wanna go in, I
That
think.
could be substantial.
Yeah, it would.
so if I just look at like April of '21 and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So you had 18 hauls in that 1 month. If that was representative of any month, any given month, that's like, almost seems too much. 216 for the year. I don't know if that seems about right, so just to give you a sense, like, do you have about 4 to 5 recycling hauls a month?
Oh, God. You mean with everything?
Yeah.
I can almost break it down for you. Let's see. Monday definitely is 2 cardboard, sometimes 3. So there's 2 cardboard, 1 plastic, and B compactor.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday, it's usually, sometimes we have some, sometimes we don't, but it's the open tops. Depending on the open tops, we could end up be sending metal, we could be end up sending, one of the bulkies, or sometimes 2 of the bulkies.
But what about just the, just the open top
Recycling.
recycling? No, I'm sorry, not the open top, just the dome top recycling.
Dome tops? All right, so the dome tops would be Monday C and J and 1 plastic, so there's 3.
Yep.
Wednesday, it's iffy. Then we can't take anything Friday, so come the following Monday, again, C and J, maybe D, maybe it's 3 cardboards
Mhm.
and 1 plastic.
So it sounds like you're looking at least 12.
There's a lot there.
Yeah, so 12, yeah, so I think that's about right then. You're looking at about, yeah.
In cans and glass, it might be
'Cause you could-
maybe once,
'cause
it'll
the-
have to be 2 a month, maybe.
Yeah, so that's how you're gonna get to your 18. That kind of all roughly adds up. So, you know, you're looking at, so figure 6, what do we say, 216 minus 40, so you're gonna be saving about 176, 175 hauls a year.
That's a lot, yeah.
So the rub is that the compactors, it costs money to put compactors
Sure.
in, so there's a cost to the town there.
Yep.
There's a cost, an ongoing cost, because you have the rental,
Mhm.
and then you also have, the hauling. So you still have the hauling, you have there's a little bit, the hauling will be a little more expensive,
Mhm.
there's a little bit more time associated with handling that. And then you're gonna have the rental piece, and then whatever cost the town has to put in to get started. So that's kind of the,
Mhm.
and then the single stream tonnage is gonna cost the town a little bit more. But maybe not
It
more
may
than
not,
what,
right.
maybe not more than Blackstone Valley.
Right, right.
Maybe not more than that.
You say it's $100 every time they 180, every time they
180
pull a
every
container
time,
out of there?
Yeah.
It was like
And that's,
31,000.
A lot of
with,
money.
with $5 diesel, it's not gonna be one eighty
Kidding,
anymore.
yeah, that's right.
Right?
Yeah, it's going up.
How do they separate single stream when you get to the other end?
Oh, that process is pretty neat. You know what, let me do this. I can explain it briefly, but let me see if I can send you a
YouTube
video. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Great
yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
video out there that
there's,
same people that do the candy shops and stuff, should make
Yeah.
lollipops. Show you how single.
What is
stream-
that big, trash collection area out in Northborough? Is it Northborough or Westborough?
Westboro EL
Right,
Oh,
oh, is that Harvey?
yeah, that's right, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so, yeah, single stream's pretty neat. What happens is everything gets dumped onto the tipping floor, and then it gets loaded into this big drum sorter. So it goes into a hopper, and then it kinda gets fed into this drum sorter, kinda mixes everything up, and then it spits it out on a conveyor belt. Then what happens is, you get all these guys pulling out any stuff that doesn't belong there. So, you know, if there's like, a
Do the
garden
drip for you.
hose or a suitcase or any of the stuff that just has no business being in recycling, and we see it all, everything from propane
Oh,
tanks
yeah,
to,
oh, yeah.
you know, you name it, but,
Whatever they can
brake
put in a
drums,
plastic
yeah.
bag and throw it in.
Exactly. So, and so that all that's what we call the pre-sort, so like anything that visually can just be identified and just yanked out of there before it hits the system, that's what we do. And then from there, that's where it gets pretty neat, it kinda goes into all these different processes. And so they have everything from magnets that pull out any of the tin and the
Wow.
steel cans and stuff, so that comes out. Then you have,
Bless you.
Thank you.
you have these screeners, so like everything's kind of done on conveyors and rotating mechanisms.
It's amazing.
So they'll have these, they call them star screens, and it's like these big cogs that have these kind of like, stars, it
Arms.
kind of makes, arms, yeah, it looks like a star, but they spin around.
Bless you.
But there's space that's in between them. And so what happens is as the material hits this star screen, that's what they call it, the bottles and the cans and everything fall through, but the paper and the cardboard ride on top of it, so it kind of just separates
It's a
that out.
separator, yeah, yeah.
And so then, and that goes through a couple of those to kind of keep separating it.
It's
And
all
then the-
about gravity, see?
and then the paper and the cardboard, because of the weights and everything, that kind of helps separate that in a different way. Then what happens is it hits what we call optical sorters. And this is really cool. So like by the time the stuff really starts getting separated out and you have all these different bottles and everything, what happens is they have a light that looks at the bottle and it scans the type of plastic it is. And then it hits it with a jet of air. And so if it's like a number 1 plastic, boom, it goes in this direction. But if it's a number 2, it blows it in that direction. And so,
Imagine that.
and what would blow your mind is like the speed that this conveyor is going, and it's like poof, 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 just blasting
That's
these things.
incredible.
Yeah,
That's
it's wild.
I'd love to see that, I'd like to see that in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
no
so
kidding.
there's some pretty neat stuff that's out there, and the thing is like, it's all this stuff was, much of it was very, very labor intensive, and again, it was the kind of work that nobody really wants to do. And so what we've been trying to do more and more and more is just invest into some of these, there's different robotic procedures that are happening now, as much automation as possible, like these optical scanners. So that's what we're trying to do, and it's helping, it improves the quality of at the end of the process, but it also cuts back on the fact that it's hard to find people who wanna do this kind of work.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, you're gonna have
so
to beat Elon Musk to
Yeah.
you're gonna
He's
have-
he's gonna have all the.
He'll think of something.
Well, he's already thinking of the robotics, so
Robotics,
that
yeah.
would help, I'd say,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in the industry.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, any other
Well,
questions?
I guess where do we go from here? I guess we have to put something together that you can.
Yeah, well, so I guess I would just put it this way. You don't have, when it comes to trash and recycling, just so you understand your options and understand
Mhm.
how things work. Trash and recycling are exempt from chapter 30B, bidding laws. So it's an exempt service,
Right.
so you don't have to do a bid.
Okay.
And then if
But
you.
we have to know, where we
Understood.
stand,
So what you could do is, probably the easiest thing to do would be to just, you can ask for a proposal from your current hauler, ask for a proposal from us, compare the two, and see which direction you wanna go in.
Right.
That'd be the easiest thing to do. If you wanna go out to bid, that's up to you. You don't have to, but even if you do choose to go out to bid, again, there's a few things that you need to know about the exemption. You'll get responses, and now it's up to you you can negotiate. So you don't have to go with, first of all, you don't have to go with the lowest bidder. You can go with whoever you feel offers the most value to the town, so that's something that you should be aware of. And you can negotiate on those two. So if the bids come in and it's like close, or you feel like there's something that maybe wasn't addressed that you want to address later on, whatever it is, you have the ability to sit down with the hauler and kind of iron out whatever the best deal for the town is that you can.
Right. I guess what I'm looking for right now is what will you give the town here? What, and not necessarily dollars and cents right now. We're not talking about we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
But what kind of a picture are we looking at here? What can you offer us? What can you, that's what we're really looking for.
As far as like just a kind of a way forward, or
Yeah, well,
or like a service offering.
help me, guys.
Well, for one, help us be more efficient.
Well,
Yeah.
that's it, yeah.
And
That's
Yeah.
it.
And that's what I think I'm trying to do right now as we're talking through this, is that offering you guys some solutions that I just think, as far as managing the process goes, giving you more space, making it easier on the residents, which adds value for them. I think like a single stream approach would be
Right.
definitely, I don't wanna say it's absolutely the way to go, but I think it's definitely worth considering.
Well, I think you brought up a lot of great ideas here, and that's kind of what I wanted to do, is get a look at exactly what you're proposing here. Not dollars and cents right now,
Yeah.
but, what kind of what are we looking at, so we can get the prices,
Yeah.
we can
So,
get to that.
so maybe one thing is like I did talk about, providing the town with a template of what.
Exactly.
So if I did move ahead with that, and I could just kind of put the template there, put it together for you guys, so that way you could ask for what may seem to be the kind of the most efficient approach.
Right.
And then you can even leave it open and say, because if you make it an RFP and not like a request for proposals versus like an invitation for bids or something like that, if you go in that direction, you can now say, here's what the town would like to consider, and that's where we put this template together. Everybody who responds would kind of moved in, kind of pushed in that direction, but you also leave it open-ended, so that way if they have any ideas, cause I don't have every idea in the world, you know? So if they have some ideas on how to proceed, they could also propose that as well.
But I'd like
But it-
apples and apples, you know, as
Understood.
much as we can.
So what I would say is this, to address that point, you say to everybody, here, at a minimum, we'd like everybody to provide pricing on this,
Mhm.
but we also offer, we also welcome alternative offers. So now what happens is, at a minimum, everybody has to give you a price for this plan. So now you do apples to apples comparison, and you could see how the pricing comes in.
Okay.
Then you could also leave it open-ended where you could also offer an alternative. So if somebody wanted to offer an alternative, you would see what sort of like the standard approach is, and you could see if their alternative is better than that, and then you'd have to kind of spend some more time evaluating it. You could just reject it, or you could, give it further consideration. That'd be up to you.
Okay.
What's a reasonable time frame for us to be looking to either continue with the current or change to a new hauler?
I
Are we
would.
talking September or October, are we talking this time next year?
This time next year would be cutting it
All right,
way
so-
too close.
So back off, how far back do we go?
I would say if you hit something on the street, if you had something on the street in September, that's a good time frame. I'll tell you why. Because you give somebody, say, 2 months or so to respond, 6 to 8 weeks to respond to it. That's comfortable on our end. So now you have something in your hand. You have all your proposals in November, and now what happens is you can evaluate those proposals. Give yourself a few weeks to evaluate it. You can meet with. I would recommend meeting with the different haulers to see what they're like, see what other solutions they have. They might have feedback that didn't come through in the RFP, but that you may want to consider. You may want to negotiate with some of them. So then you give yourself some time to hold those interviews. So say maybe by and then you make an award. So now if you're making an award by December or January, there's a few things that everybody benefits by. On one hand, the hauler is able to get the equipment and get everything in place and work with you guys on any changes you're looking to make. And you guys also will know what your price is for your budget for the next fiscal year. So you can, and that's another consideration too. It's like, that's how I can see it working on our end, right? And like how it also works with the town. But let's say you know that you gotta get your budget in by, I don't know when that is for Douglas. March. So then that timeframe works perfectly.
Right.
Some towns are like, it's like, November, December, and that's on the early side, but that's when they're already beginning to crunch the numbers, so. I think what, release something in September,
Right.
and if you released it earlier, it wouldn't hurt either, but.
Sure. If we had to call you back at any time to just maybe question something or go over something, that's
Not a problem at all.
because you've been wonderful, actually.
Well,
I
thanks.
appreciate your time coming here, and, very knowledgeable, and you've enlightened us,
Thank you very
so.
much.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're welcome, that's
And
what
Corey's
I'm here
got all
for.
the notes, so we're all set.
You've been taking notes, what are you going to do for us now?
What am I gonna do for you now? All right, so I'm looking to find out if a municipality runs a transfer station such as Douglas has the option to not accept mattresses. Is that even a possibility?
Yeah.
I'd like to find out for you guys about the metal cans, paint cans, to see if that should go in the recycling or not. I can let you know about that, and then I'd like to try to get you a video of the single stream sorting.
Just so we can laugh at it, right?
Just so you can see, just so you understand how the whole process, you think, you'll be impressed. There's some-
That should be those little midgets are in there going like this?
Yeah, I know, yeah. Oh, no, those guys are working, they're working hard. And of course, that's the template. I didn't write that down, because I already,
You got that.
that was like, definitely doing that one,
Oh.
yeah.
Perfect.
But no, I'm glad you're right, I'll put it down through that.
Kristen, did you have you looking for anything else?
And the other thing that would be, I guess, just from an administrative or reporting standpoint, you know, if you did go with the single stream, I mean, it would be like, your reporting would be so easy. You'd just get, it'd be, first of all, you'd eliminate a bunch of these categories, and then it would just say like, single stream, you had, you know, 2 or 3 hauls this month, and it was, you know, 15 ton. And you'd have all that information
What
right
would you
there.
do with all that spare
All
time?
that clean up this mess.
But don't count on it.
There's always gonna be something else.
Jeez, what could I do?
Dick will always find something for her to
No
do.
doubt.
So,
Yeah, thank
is there anything else I should
I
add to
think
my?
we're all
No,
set.
that's
list?
great.
No, that
Thank
was
you so
great.
much,
That was
Ed.
great.
Oh, my pleasure. Glad that.
It was a great presentation.
Yeah, thank
you.
Great job.
Thank you. Well,
You're welcome.
good seeing everybody again.
Yeah, I see you
Thank
too.
you.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you. Yep. Good seeing you
Happy
again.
New Year.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, take care.
Hey, let's hope that April this next year, we aren't having the same conversation.
Yeah.
I know, yeah, it seems like we've gone through this a few times, but it's all right, because, I think every time we're getting a little bit closer to a better solution.
That's what I tell myself.
The longer we wait, the more innovation too.
That's right.
So, there you go. Okay, so we have, what's this transfer station, non-resident transfer station use?
One of the things that they brought up, that the EP brought up, is use of the transfer station by non-residents. Summer people at Wallem Lake need it for a brief period of time, that kind of thing.
Well, that kind of, I don't know how everybody else feels about it.
I'm against it.
Yeah,
I'm against it. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Because I mean, with the people we have coming in now, we have,
yeah. And then we have people, I was
Most
sitting here.
campgrounds and things have their own dumpsters and their
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
managed
Yeah.
waste
Right,
system.
Right.
Yeah, I would say non-residents, that's just.
We had
difficult.
people, I was just here the other day with, sitting in the office, we're talking, and Kristen, somebody came in, right, looking for a 1-month sticker.
yeah.
Now, come on, break it
Try to
down,
clean
you
out a
know.
house or something.
Yeah.
It costs
Yeah.
us more money than.
It's kind of
costs them.
ridiculous, I mean, get a dumpster, you know?
Right.
Yeah, that's what you're
That's
gonna
the way
do,
you
get a
do it.
40-yard.
They would be
Yeah.
hauling more stuff in there, it'd be
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Right. So I don't
And the
think.
one-time pass was the same thing.
Yeah,
I don't
those,
think
those
this-
are.
What about for, like, if somebody has a couch, is that what you mean, something like that? So we do get calls like that.
Yeah,
For like, Hayward Land
Yeah.
or Harvard.
We charge for mattresses.
yeah. We're gonna go up on those fees, for
We're due,
sure.
we have to do that soon.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but the one time,
We should have to post it, though. We have to post it.
I would
We
say,
should figure it out,
one-time
yeah.
people call Berkey or something. Put it in
Yeah.
a truck and bring it over there, it's only
Right.
another 10-minute ride, it's not that far.
Right.
If that, right? I mean,
Right. I mean-
There are people too, you can call on like Facebook, they
Right,
have
right.
like to pick up, you
Oh,
know,
true, like
scrap
Oh, yeah,
or,
some people
you
just
know,
want to-
couches, they'll come
Yeah.
pick up any junk.
Yeah.
And
True.
sometimes they'll pick it
Pay
up
you.
for free,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and pay to take it, you
Sure,
know?
sure.
They just, I don't know, they go use something out of it.
And then single use, I'd say, or like the one-time deal, right? We've done that before for certain situations. I think that needs to go through board approval for those type of situations.
we do it on
Hoarding and
tires, right?
things. What's that?
Tires is a one-time deal.
Yeah.
Or like a housing
Yeah.
problem or something.
Yeah, we had some hoarding situations where we tried to help somebody out and gave them a short-term
Right,
dump
right.
pass for you know, prorated, whatever.
Yeah, that was a kind of an extreme.
Yeah, those are extreme situations
Yeah.
that need board approval, and I think we should stick to board approval on anything like that. But I'd say we stick with residents.
Okay,
Okay.
so much for that.
And I can tell you something.
And we have FY '23 budget discussion. I think we just did that.
Well, we did, we did, but we will, we have this other stuff in here too, do you wanna talk about that now?
Well, we'll get to it at the end.
Okay. Also, I have in here, you can take it home and look at it, from NEDT. He just sent me an example from a town,
Yeah.
it was Shrewsbury.
Yeah, it should
Where the town gives so much money to NADT as like a hold for people, like you can say we'll give each resident $20 to go to NADT and get rid of hazardous waste. And then they show their license.
We give the resident?
No, we give it to the NADT. Like the town would say, we're gonna give you $5,000 this year. So each resident can bring $20 worth.
So what if they exceed that?
Then they pay
And they
for
pay
it.
for
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
so
so they get
first
one
$20
credit.
is
Yeah.
free and then,
So they look at their license, they check their name off.
Yeah.
And it looked like there was a rollover,
And it can go over.
if you don't meet that.
so
Yeah.
would you mail out a letter or how would you? Cause would that letter thing consider something for the lady that came in? Remember she said if you do mass mail,
Yeah.
would that be like a point?
Well, I could do that with like the census. I could throw something in there.
Yeah.
I've done that before.
Oh, okay.
Cause it's
Yeah.
expensive
household.
to send something to everybody.
Yeah.
It's thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have slip from NEDT that we hand out
Yep.
so often. Someone will ask about something, we don't take it,
Yep.
but we give them the slip and all the prices are there.
Oh,
What besides batteries, thermostats, that kind of thing, what else?
We got it right
Go
here.
there?
Wait, the
Any,
following
Any-
cannot be
any-
accepted.
Any
Paint? Oh, they take
any,
paint?
yeah, any container that will not, the contents are not soluble in water. That's a potential hazard.
Oh, yeah.
So that, I mean, that covers, wow.
Yeah.
Drain cleaner, furniture, floor
Any
cleaners,
oil-based
everything.
paint,
Yeah.
we would take.
Like the list we have from NEDT, does Brickwoods have a list like that too?
I don't know.
I don't either, because I know a lot of people will come up with us and say that they want to deliver refrigerators. No, you gotta go to Berkowitz.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just wonder if Berkowitz has a list like NEDT does.
for what you can
Yeah,
dispose
for
of?
what they take
Oh,
on price.
I'm sure they do, yeah.
A lot of scrappies will take refrigerators and things like that anyways.
So do people call you a lot here? Cause I know like at Ben's, we always get phone
For
calls.
hazardous waste.
Yeah, or even like you said, like mattresses, so like, will you just come pick it up? You know what I
Oh,
mean?
no, no.
Do
No,
you,
we don't
do you
get
do
calls
that?
like
Like at Ben's,
Yeah,
like at GBI Ben's,
right.
people call all day. So when they ask those type
Yeah.
of questions, you know what I mean, like you have to read, they want a dumpster, you can't put this, or you can, like a mattress, you can, but you'll get charged.
You'll get charged for that.
Right.
Extra, it's like an extra bulk, yeah.
Yeah, so people will ask, and then they will ask like, okay, so what do we do with that stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just refer them to NEDT.
Yeah,
for
that's
that, yeah.
what I do, yeah.
Right now, that's that trash business is huge.
I know.
Yeah.
It's huge.
People
It-
make a lot of
Ben's is like
trash.
growing.
No kidding,
rapidly,
I
yeah.
see it.
He had started out with so many, and now
Yeah.
every week they're ordering more, and dumpsters are hard to get.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's with the FY '23 budget?
So,
He must have a big grin on his face. Yeah.
on the first page is transfer station. We did the health one, we already looked at that. We should vote on that again. Matt did change some numbers.
What is
not
it?
really. The budget, right here.
Oh,
So this is the transfer station, this one page. It is what it is. Nothing really changes. We estimated what BP is gonna be,
yeah, we
we
guesstimated.
guesstimated.
Yeah.
So what do you think we need to vote on?
Approving the budget. Approving the numbers.
Or what's changed?
I mean, everything went up a little bit,
Yeah, we got it.
yeah.
And like he said,
We
it's
have
gonna
no-
get worse next year.
Before we get to better.
Oh, yeah.
We really have no wiggle room
No.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to we're gonna have to go up on the separate, well, mattresses, but, which we don't even know what that's gonna be yet.
bulk
But
items.
like soon, like June,
Yeah.
like when the new fiscal year starts, we're gonna have to go up on, or before.
Stickers.
Well, stickers in March, but,
No, bulk items and
couches and
Yeah.
chairs and electronics.
Things like
We might have
that.
to start charging for exercise equipment.
whatever, we need to like,
Well,
Those are big items.
You know, the ones you.
Treadmills and-
Yeah, you got quite a few of those, and those are huge.
do you wanna make a list? Cause I don't know, I don't
Well,
have
if they,
everything on the list.
if they
of
break
other
it
things.
down,
I don't break it down.
they don't break it
No.
down. I mean, if they come in with an item like that, it's bulky,
Yeah.
it takes up space.
I mean, we can probably make three categories, like a small, medium, and large exercise equipment, and bang, bang, bang.
Yeah,
put the price down.
yeah.
We'll have to decide.
Yeah, we could
Yeah,
hash that out
I
too.
don't-
But I can have Julie maybe call other transfer stations
I
and
was just
see.
gonna say,
what-
you could probably call like E.L. Harvey and say, okay, give me a list of what it is to dispose of it and how much it is, cause they
Right, how
will
much
send
they're
it.
Well, they
charging.
might-
Like
they
a
might have a-
TV, this,
They
and
might
break
have
it
a
down.
list of all the stuff they charge. So
Because if
we
you
can
don't
get
take
that.
it, they're gonna have to call anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's
That's
like they're
a
gonna
great
have to pay, you know,
Yeah.
rather just go to, right down the street to your own
So maybe a
town.
couch would be 20 instead of 10, I
We
don't
pay
know.
20 for a couch, 10 for a chair.
Okay. So
It's
maybe-
gonna have to go
it's
up,
gonna have
yeah.
to go
Yeah,
up.
oh, I'm sure.
It's gonna be 50 a couch
Yeah, it's
anyway.
pretty
And
sure
if
that
it's,
the couch,
what do you
I
call
think,
them,
for West
those,
Town is 65.
The wraparound couch?
Yeah.
Really, a couch?
We charge them
I
40.
think so.
But that's like
Don't mark
two
my
couches
words.
and a
That's like
chair,
six. I know
that
with
should be
mattresses
50,
and
at
stuff.
least.
60,
Yeah, 60, right.
Wow.
yeah. Something like
So we have
that.
to work on that.
Because that's like two couches.
Oh, yeah.
Bonfires is over.
Yeah. And then
We're
the
gonna have to charge,
health budget, just a little bit, we already went over this.
What's the health,
One that we went over with the finance committee.
Oh, yeah. you
I
did
mean,
do
Matt
that,
tweaked
right.
a little bit, but it is what it is. I mean,
mhm.
Were we all set on the, like, Anishka's?
yeah, he didn't change anything.
Those things
No, he
were
left
okay?
it, yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Alright. Do we have to make a motion
Yeah, we could for both of
Alright.
them,
for both?
health and
Oh,
transportation.
the health insurance. I'd make a motion that we accept the budget for the health, for the health department and the transfer station as presented.
Okay, motion.
Are you doing just the transfer station or the whole thing?
Health
The-
and-
Yeah, the board of health and the transfer station,
Okay,
both are on that motion.
I would second that.
Okay, second, all in favor?
All right,
Okay, motion is passed.
we were talking about changing the rate of the stickers as of July 1.
Well, we can do that, but we're gonna get trickled then, yeah,
Yeah, we gotta figure out what that number is.
yep,
But if we do it as of July 1, the start of the budget
Yeah.
year, which then takes us back to the big point in March of next
Yeah.
year.
so anybody that buys one after July 1st, it'll be, it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Right
Wow.
now, it looks like we're spending more than we're taking in.
Well, yes, we definitely are.
So we need a number that brings us up.
So, we go up on stickers in July?
We can,
We already paid for stickers this.
yeah, no, and for the people who are buying them after July 1st. If
Okay.
you're a new resident, it will still be prorated,
How much is it right now?
200.
200 for the year.
265 and under.
Yeah, I paid
100 for-
120
for-
every 2 months.
Yeah.
For trash,
Yeah, about
Yeah,
500-600 a year.
yeah.
These people are getting away with murder.
Yeah.
It's
And
unbelievable.
they don't, like, if I put a chair out there, they wouldn't take that. You know, like my.
Right,
my-
you'd have to
Yeah.
pay separate for
They,
that.
yeah, they wouldn't.
Or you'd have to call ahead or something.
Yeah, something like that.
I had a complaint last week. Guy had to pay 20 for a couch. He was all upset. Well, I paid $200 for my sticker. That should make clear. Sorry, buddy. You got a problem with that? Go to the Board of Health.
That's right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Talk to Kristen.
Well, we can explain.
If you find this door locked for,
Tomorrow,
name's
she's gonna
Julie.
come
If you
in.
find a better deal, go for it,
Good
you
luck.
know?
Good luck.
You find a better deal.
But they think that, because they
Yeah,
find the
there's-
sticker,
there
that
is
should
no
take care of
better
everything.
deal out
No, it
there.
doesn't. They don't get
they're,
it.
they're,
Expensive.
they should be, you know, they should be all excited about paying $200 a year.
Well, the thing is,
for-
they've probably been using the transfer station for 20 years.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
have no idea
Right.
the cost of things these days.
I remember
You know, that
the-
person
No,
has no
you're right.
clue.
One of the first times I used the transfer station, I was up there, and there was a guy who, you know, we were talking about how they throw everything and anything in there. There was a guy that I knew, kind of, and he's on the other side of the thing, they come back and he's trying to lift this thing that he's got in a bag, and I can see his face, he's like smiling at me, but trying to lift this. I said, and then I hear it go boom.
Yeah.
I go,
Like that
what
should
the
be
hell
not a
was that?
bag.
That was
Right, it was like a wood
Body.
stove inside a bag or something.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, that was something, we can tell by the bags, some people do not recycle. I'd
Right,
say quite a few people don't recycle.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
And when they pull that big black bag, and usually when I see a big black bag, I'm saying,
Yes.
wait a minute, that's not your house, right? No.
Right,
So-
right, right.
And you can see the design of the box that's in there. So they got cardboard in there, they got all this stuff in there, and sometimes you can hear the glass hit the bottom, and after I send it. It's like,
It's a dead giveaway, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
Oh, no,
know.
it's too bad, and you can, nothing you can do, you can't make people do
No,
stuff
how
like that,
can you,
so.
how can you possibly?
Right, right, you just hope, but, maybe if we do single stream, maybe that'll help,
That, I think
Well, I
that
think
would. I mean, if we can
that's
get
fine,
that, I think
yeah.
that would, I mean, I don't know, I can imagine the cost, but I mean, that would be ideal.
Well, I mean.
the cost for the trips that we would
The
save.
hauling is only gonna go up.
Oh, yeah.
$5
Guaranteed.
a gallon
Granted.
for diesel.
Yeah.
And you know what, if we combine that, and maybe in a few years, we add the buy a bag thing, however, I mean,
Yeah.
people do that all over the place, people make it work, so at some point,
Yeah.
and then people would
I
really be
hate to go
thinking.
to that, but.
I would too, but I tell you, people would think about throwing a cardboard box in a bag they paid for.
Well, the thing we did was we upped the prices for our
That's right.
Get less.
I know.
air conditioners and dehumidifiers. No issues. People are paying the $20.
Yeah, no
They're paying
problem,
the $20.
no problem.
Well, they're gonna be paying
So-
more.
Yeah,
So
so
there-
we
you know,
fed this little one that got in there, but.
Yeah. I mean, most people in the town have no idea
No.
What it would cost.
what
if
it
you
would cost,
had
right? They
curbside.
think that the $200 is like, oh, wow, I paid my $200. They
Right.
have no
No
idea.
clue, no clue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how much extra cost everything.
We're trying to keep, we're fighting to keep
Seniors
it
pay
down.
100. That's crazy.
What is it?
Seniors pay
Yeah, I know it.
$100 a year. That's
I know.
outrageous.
And I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, hey,
How
you don't
much
hear
do
me
know how
complain
much
about it.
someone costs, or somebody with another license?
I don't.
I wonder,
What's that?
like how much
After
like
that
a
discussion,
local
I have
town
a
Yeah.
suggestion.
charges that have
Yeah,
a
I'll have
transfer
to look.
station for a sticker?
Well, this is
They
Sutton.
do paper
Sutton
bag, I
has that.
think. I think they do paper bags, so it'd be a cheaper sticker than you buy your bags.
Sutton does
Yeah.
the, they have the transfer station, they have the separation, you know, the,
Should we
recycling and
continue
everything.
on?
They have,
Yeah, if you
the
do.
way they have it is you drive in, and they have these containers like kinda down below, but not as high as where we are, you know, just a little bit. It's probably about a couple feet below, and they have walkways in between where people get out and they walk and they separate their items right there.
Yeah.
But, I know that their fees are going
Yeah,
way.
everybody's, so if we could do a single stream thing, maybe convert over to that. I hate to do the paper bag too, but paper bag would eliminate people just
Yeah, I know.
throwing stupid
Or
stuff
maybe,
in the bag.
you know, making people realize that if this doesn't work, we're gonna have to go to paper bag, and, maybe they'll be a little more conscious about,
what they're doing.
yeah, what they're
Single
doing.
stream might help, it might make it easier, people don't like
Yeah.
to separate stuff, if they only have to
Right.
do recycling and
Right.
trash, then that may.
Right, I thought that was a great idea, yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, I think it was
Yeah.
just really hard to
Yeah.
go that way,
It's
but, all right.
it's a mindset change.
Yeah, well, I think the infrastructure, we were thinking to do that was gonna be pretty costly, I think that was like 2-3 years ago, when we talked about that.
So we don't have a public health nurse update, right?
No, yeah, she's sick. That's the update.
Oh, I hope she feels better soon.
Getting better.
Okay, I lost my agenda.
We need your update.
Health agent.
My update?
Yeah.
Same as last month.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, nothing is.
Knock on wood.
No news is good news.
No,
Knock on wood.
it's very good, because, okay, you wanted to go over this here?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
just an update.
Bills and warrants.
There's some more.
Bills and warrants, we're okay on?
Bills and warrants,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Approval of minutes,
I've already looked at that. I make a motion, we approve the minutes from Monday, March 7th.
Okay, motion
I'll
is made.
second that one.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, on the minutes,
Yep.
because I know we're going to the next agenda item.
Yes,
On the
okay.
minutes, it talked about the signs for the transfer station that I would like to work on and get going.
Yep.
Educational signs, we didn't make a motion to allow me to spend the money. We talked and didn't.
Yeah, we're gonna try and hold you back as long as we can.
Right.
But I'm gonna save you money.
Okay.
Good.
I'd like to have a limit, no more than $500 to put into the signs. These will be 2 fixed signs, and then on the surface of those signs will be changing messages, which will change probably every couple of weeks.
How are you, what do you mean, electronically changing? Or
No.
are you just
No,
going?
you're just gonna go put a different
It'll be
piece
on
in, it'll be like a frame, and then
Velcro.
Velcro.
Yeah.
You're gonna have red flashing lights around these signs? That's all we're gonna read them, I'm
Big
telling you.
arrows,
I'm
big
telling
arrows
you.
pointing.
No, 'cause they'll catch it initially, and then after that, they'll never.
Yeah.
And that's why you keep changing it.
Yeah.
So it looks
yeah.
different colored signs, so that they're not all blue, one's red,
Physical
one's.
stuff, there'll be
yeah.
physical stuff there.
All right, well, hey,
Not this.
try anything.
Motion?
Let's see if it works.
We have a motion.
I'll make a motion, we
Approve.
No
the
more
sign.
than 500.
approve, the budget of $500 for signage at the transfer station.
Motion is made.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
We'll hope it works.
Well.
That's 2.5
yeah.
stickers right there, so.
Yeah,
Okay, we have old business and new business.
All right.
there were
What
two,
do you got for us?
there were 2 messages that have been written that are in your folder.
Okay.
Yep.
One of them is, thank you Douglas residents heading. That's intended as a news release for the Uxbridge Times. If you're okay with it, I'll send it in.
Kristen, I have too many papers here.
These little paragraphs.
Yeah. Read mine.
Yeah, I did read, I
Yeah.
did read this, yeah.
Okay, you okay as a news
Yeah.
item?
Yeah, the only thing your
My
name should be in here.
My name is not going in there because it's the Board of Health. It should not be one
Listen.
person.
Wait,
We agreed on these things.
for the coffers?
You spearheaded this whole thing, and no, really, I'm serious, and you should get credit for it.
I did, thank you.
Who
That must be referring.
who wrote this?
I wrote them.
Oh, you wrote them?
Oh, yeah.
That's why you didn't give yourself credit. I'm gonna have to edit.
There's no C into C now. TUSINL.
Okay, I know how to do that. All right.
I'd like to be able to edit this, just a little bit, okay? Because
As long as
Dick
it's- as long as- no name.
spearheaded this, and
No name.
it-
I will call the editor of the Uxbridge Times and say,
Okay.
take my name out. It should not be mine. It's a group.
You have done a lot of work on that.
I have.
If you
We've never
insist-
done that, and that's a
If you
lot of money.
insist, maybe above and beyond that, we'll do something
All right.
to.
Do you realize also that these numbers that are in there represent just about half a year?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is, it really
I mean, it
is.
sounds like free money, but these people are working their butts off.
They are, I see them down there,
And
it's
2
incredible.
of the groups went right through the winter, and they have roughly
I know it.
$2,000 apiece.
Wow. Imagine $5,000.
That people are just throwing away.
Imagine
And you
that.
look in these cone top containers, and you'll see more deposits contained, so they're all not getting.
And people aren't just throwing stuff
I'm-
randomly in those either.
I'm very
right?
impressed with that, that's
Fence
amazing.
containers, people are taking good care of those, they're not just throwing.
You did a fabulous job on that.
And the other one is a note so we can thank Ben for loaning us the
Yes,
trash cans.
yes.
And that's to be signed by the Board of
Yeah.
Health, Board of Selectmen, if it's okay.
Yeah, Board of Selectmen, yeah.
All right, so I'll take care of that tomorrow.
So one of them is a thank you letter, I get that, the other one is sort of a, just a thank you to, both of them are thank yous, one's to the Douglas residents.
Yeah.
All right.
This one is going in the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This one's gonna
Thank
be
you.
a letter to Ben.
Just a
Yeah.
letter. Good, perfect.
But this is thank you to Douglas residents essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the other one's, all right.
And
Going
to
in
give
the
them,
paper.
an update as to what's happening, and maybe some of them say, hey, I'll put my cans in at once too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
Very good.
I'm done, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Unless you're gonna edit,
No,
Other than that,
I will do something, but
but say
not
thank you, that's
necessarily.
enough.
Well, okay.
Per Tricky Dicky.
Yeah. We're looking for a motion here.
Next meeting.
Next
Oh,
meeting.
next meeting, okay.
May 7th.
I move we adjourn.
I'm
Oh, you gotta
having
What's the
another
next
knee
date?
done.
Oh, you'll be on the golf course in no time. huh?
Yeah, I may, you know, depending on how it works out, I don't know if I'm gonna be at the next meeting or not,
Alright,
but,
alright, well,
we'll see, but you can back me
I'll
up,
run
I'm
if I need
sure.
to, yeah.
So the next meeting would be in May?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
We
we wanna go
moved
with
it out to
the,
mid-May, you bet.
Possibly, mid to, yeah, last week maybe
Wanna do
or
the,
something.
16th,
the last,
or the go for the end? We can do that.
Yeah,
We could
go
try for the
end.
16th and see how the chief's doing, if he isn't, we move it out.
Yeah, that's fine, that's
Alright.
fine.
we may get a variance in between, but we'll work on that if we do.
Yeah, we'll see, the 16th might pad us a little bit.
So you meet at 5:16?
Yep.